knowing what to do well and focus on what to do well, and leaving other people do the rest. And we believe, even as a leader of the industry, it's also very important for the Microsoft to know what it can do well and what it can do in the best. And ladies and gentlemen, we're the team THU. My name is Karen, together with my colleagues, Matt, Shelley, and Alex. Today we're glad to be here to present to you our strategy for Microsoft. That is, first of all, we want to leverage on their current advantage, which is in the operating system. Then we want to fill the gap by leveraging our existing advantage in the device business. Finally, we come up with our organizational solution in order to sustain the growth in the future. So now, let's go further and deeper into the analysis.
Thank you, Karen. So before we move on to the detailed strategies of how we would help Microsoft optimize its advantages and fill the gaps and optimize its operations, we first look at the goal of the Microsoft company. The first goal is to transform from a pure service provider to a service and devices provider. And the second goal is to transform from a PC-focused company to a PC as well as mobile and cloud-focused company. And these transformations are all done through the ecosystem of production and building. So what is the ecosystem that we have always mentioned? We have divided the business from two perspectives and dimensions. The first perspective, we divide the business into two parts. The first one is PC, and second one is mobile. And the second dimension, we divide the business from service and device perspectives. So apparently, Microsoft is doing well in the PC part and service part. And there's always have been gaps between the PC and mobile, as well as service and device, not only for Microsoft, but also for the whole industry. So our key objectives of building an integrated ecosystem are twofold. The first one is not only to develop our mobile system or mobile business, but also smoothen and fill the gap between the mobile system as well as the PC systems. And the second objective is to let the service and product or devices support each other and to build an integrated ecosystem. And combining these two, we believe through our strategy, we're confident that Microsoft is able to build an ecosystem to support the previous two objectives of the company. So after that, we have identified three principles for Microsoft during the process of integrating as well as implementing these strategies. The first principle is to adapt to new market change. We can see that the market trend has transformed from the PC side to the mobile side, and Microsoft has no choice but to adapt to this. We can see that Microsoft has been doing this, and we strongly recommend Microsoft to keep doing this, transforming from PC side to mobile side. And the second principle is to keep an open attitude. In order to keep an open attitude, to be more specific, we actually want Microsoft or recommend Microsoft to adopt other operating systems on its devices. You may say that from the example of Apple, which actually illustrates to us a very successful example of a closed source system with a very integrated system as well as applications. But there are three reasons why we don't think this is applicable to Microsoft. The first reason is that Apple is a first mover or first successful mover in this field. Because Apple has established a very successful application and as well as devices ecosystem that Microsoft might not able to copy the model. The second factor is that Microsoft now is faced with a chicken and egg situation. That Microsoft either wanted to build up its user base or wanted to build up its application developers. This is a chicken egg situation that that is very hard for Microsoft to solve. And the third reason is the industry trend. We believe that the industry trend is moving towards a merged and integrated system with devices available for all kinds of operating systems. So we do believe it is right for Microsoft to keep an open attitude and to use this kind of open source devices. And the third one is to leverage our advantages. As I have mentioned, Microsoft's advantage is now located at PC operating systems as well as software and services. So we're trying to leverage this kind of advantages in the whole process of building up our ecosystem, of transforming our Microsoft company from a service to a service and device provider, and from a PC-focused company to a mobile-focused company. Now let's move on to our first strategy.
Thanks, Matt. In our first strategy, we want to leverage on our Windows operating system business. So why is that? We have some very important reasons. First of all, compared to other business, it creates more revenue, and also since it's our core business, how we start our business and become the leader. So we believe it's very important to leverage on this on the operating system. And more importantly, since we're entering the device business, and it's very important to use our advantage in the operating system to promote the device business. So here is a case study that is which is about Apple. And one of my friends has taught me that Apple only spend 9 cents to reduce the battery, and he just make a joke that if you drop your iPhone from the 5th floor, then it get ants. But if you drop a Nokia phone from the 5th floor, it just get dirty. So that means even though the device of the iPhone is not that as strong as its operating system, but it's because of the convenience provided by the operating system, it still got very popular. And so we think that's a story that we can learn about, which is keep developing our operating system of Windows. So moving on, we're trying to we have to identify some of the difficulties that we have in terms of our Windows business. So basically, we have the Windows operating system on the PC terminal and also mobile terminal. For the PC terminal, we're suffering some job because of more and more users start to use some mobile terminals like the smartphones and also tablets. And for the mobile terminals, and we're not very good at it because we found that we face some difficulty to develop the app that is for the Windows operating system. So to address those crises, in terms of the PC business, we want to know some of the trends in this business. So for the individual users, most of them are looking for the convenience and entertainment. So this gets quite popular among those individual users. So for this users, we think that we cannot. The trust is. For this individual users, it's really important to make them to promote the PC business by smoothing the gap between the mobile terminals and the PC terminals, because more and more users start to use the mobile business. How are we going to do this? For example, to smooth the gap, we can try to bring more convenience to the individual users by smoothing the process of the data transformation. For example, if they take some pictures on with their mobile terminals, then they can easily update those pictures and some of their contacts on their PC terminals as well. So this is how we develop our PC business in the individual users. And for the enterprise users, we think that this will be our core business, because usually enterprise users have more complicated demand and function demands that cannot be replaced by the tablets easily. For example, they need a lot of data analysis to increase their efficiency. So we believe this will be our future focus in terms of the operating system. So to increase the to improve our service to the enterprise users, we want to leverage on the cloud service further. And more importantly, we think it's really important to connect the enterprise users with their customers by leveraging on the cloud services. And more importantly, we can also increasing the connection between the mobile terminals and with their PCs to make the communication more efficiency. And moving on, we come to the mobile terminal operating system. And now that, as I have mentioned, now we face some crisis because of the difficulty in the APP development. And so that results in a virtuous circle, because with less APP, we get less users willing to use the operating system. So this is the obstacles that we might to solve. And to know, as a leader of the industry, the Microsoft has an advantage in the financial aspects and also technology aspects. And so we think the opportunity is that we can be the partner of some APP developers. And that means that, first of all, we want to focus on we want to meet the needs of the users. And then, so for example, we have some APP developers, and they have some ideas about creating or developing their own APP, but they don't have a very mature model. That results in their lack of cash. And so that is how we can come in to support them some financial, to give them some financial support and to help them build their own business. And so we believe by providing and also, those APP may face some difficulty in in terms of the technology. So we can also provide them some technology support. So that is how we can we can help this startup to success and create the APP that can be used for on the Windows system. So in this way, if we can get some successful example and a very good APP for Windows. For the mobile operating system, then more and more users will be the Windows users. And so through this strategy, we can improve our PC business and also speed up the development of our mobile operating system business. So now I'll pass on to my colleague for the second strategy.
Okay, so by now we've talked about how to implement, how to fully leverage our advantages to develop our business. So now I will talk about how to deal with our shortcomings or how to fill the gap in our business, which is mainly the device parts. In fact, we have made an aggressive acquisition of Nokia not very long ago. So how to have a good synergy between our software and our device. So the current gap of the device market is that maybe all of us or most of us use the iOS system of Apple or the Android system by Google. The iOS is not in our consideration because it's a closed system. However, for the Android penetration, we should give away to that because it has a very large customer base. So that at the beginning, our answer to the question whether our Windows Phone should run the Android system is yes. However, it doesn't mean that we should simply run the Android system. It means that although we will run the Android system, however, it should have a customized user interface in our Windows Phone, which is very similar to our Windows system. In fact, this is a real case. Real case from the news. The Windows Phone has already run the Android system in their Windows Phone. However, it has a very similar user interface toward our Windows, and even though some customers cannot even tell the difference between them. So by this way, we could have a customer base by using the Android system in our Windows Phone. However, it doesn't mean that we will introduce the Android system to our Windows Phone forever. What does it mean? Because by the Windows Phone with Android system, we have our customer base. And by the ecosystem that we establish in our strategy 1, which we will share data between our different Windows system devices, so that we believe with confidence that in the near future, when this kind of customers will change their phone, they will change their phone to the Windows Phone with a Windows system. So in the future, we will overcome the competition of the mobile system, and our Windows Phone will have our own system. This is how to leverage our advantage in the software. And the next step is how to leverage the advantage of the cloud. In fact, our Microsoft has a very good business in the cloud computation especially. So, and there is a new trend of the mobile phone that is more and more people will choose mobile phone, and the mobile phone will have an idle time for the cloud computation. And in fact, this is a new trend which we can fully leverage, and we can capture the new market opportunity. So one of the future directions that we highly recommend Microsoft to do is to do some cloud computation in the idle mobiles of the Windows Phone, so that it can gain a new business with lower costs. However, when we develop our Windows Phone, develop our own devices, it will result in some conflicts between us and our vendors, who also will offer us the devices such as Sony, such as Acer. So how to deal with this relationship? To begin with, we highly recommend Microsoft to have a differentiation between the devices of Windows Phone and the devices produced by our vendors, such as Acer and Sony. For example, we will have a higher-end devices for our customers with more apps and with better services toward our customers. So this is a differentiation, and we should talk this toward our vendors so that they will understand that we will not share the market share. However, we will develop a stronger relationship between us two. So this is our strategy 1 and strategy 2. And next, my colleague will talk about how to solve the managerial problem.
Thanks, Shirley. So now that we have covered our first two strategies, that is regarding our devices and also our services, but we all know that Microsoft also needs better corporate governance in order to support its own operation. So that is our third strategy, that is optimizing our operations. So first, let's take a look at Microsoft's recent reorganization. Microsoft used to have a project team structure, that is, there are 8 project teams within Microsoft that basically work independently. They have their own supporting functions. But now Microsoft is working in the so-called functioning teams. So there's a champion for every functioning team, and this champion integrates people from different divisions of Microsoft and integrate them into one functioning team. And we can see that the marketing and also the financing function of this function is already centralized into centralized marketing and financial department in the company. So we think that this structure can provide us with 2 advantages. First, it can break the silo effects between the departments so that it can concentrate the division of division goals into a centralized corporate goal. And also with a champion from the high level of the management leading every functional team, the functional teams could actually focus on the integration and leave the marketing and financing into the departments of the company. So next, recently there's a problem regarding the integration between the Nokia people and the Microsoft people. So in order to solve this problem, we propose that Microsoft should actually take a quick response for this merger and acquisition. So first, you should allow the Nokia people to retain some of the culture, and also you should guarantee that their compensation level, and also they should hold those interdivision communication seminars in order to make the Nokia people feel more sense of importance as they join this new company. So this is our financial analysis. So basically, we have laid down the basic elements, and we can see that the profits we will return to this part in the following session. So finally, let's come to our conclusion. So we have proposed 3 strategies today for Microsoft. First is to leverage the current advantages for its PC system into the mobile system. Then there is the fill the gap. That is, we encourage the development of our apps in our mobile system. And finally, there's optimized operation. That is a supporting strategy for the implementation of the first two. And by doing so, we can deliver a healthy ecosystem to ensure the future long-term growth guarantee.
Thank you very much, University of Tsinghua. The floor is open to the judges' questions. You have 15 minutes for Q&A.
Can I ask a quite general question? What do you think if we execute everything you mentioned in presentation, what will Microsoft look like in 5 years' time?
Okay, I will answer this question first, and if my colleague have anything to add, they will add it later on. So to begin with, we believe that with strategy 1 and strategy 2, we will have a well-rounded ecosystem for Microsoft, because we not only have software side but also the device side. And our software will be introduced into different kinds of devices. It will be widely used, and our users can share the data between different devices. So it will bring them lots of convenience. This is a very good ecosystem for them. And for the third strategy, which is mainly solve the managerial problem between Microsoft and Nokia, we will have a brand new function departments in Microsoft. So our total organization structure will change, and the culture between these two companies will be integrated with each other. So we believe that the Microsoft family will have a new member, and our family will look very different inside. It's a very friendly, innovative, working culture, and this is mainly the two parts that I want to illustrate. First is ecosystem, and the second is the organization structure and the company culture.
To add something on it, I think in 5 years, the operating system will still be the core business of the company, because it is something we're really good at, and also it's something that is, I think basically our strategy is about using the kind of advantage in the operating system to promote the device business. So the operating system is still our core business.
Can I have a more concrete picture from you? That in 5 years' time, what do you think the share price look like? Profit, market share in different area, operating system, device. Something that you can write down figures, articulate the whole thing.
Okay, so if we return to the financial part of our presentation, so basically without sufficient data regarding the whole assets and liabilities, something like that in the company, we have just laid out some trends in the income statement of Microsoft. So first for your question, the revenue, Microsoft is now currently only focus on the service revenue. So there is currently no device revenue, but with Nokia joining the company, and with Nokia's current technological advantages in the TMT industry, actually we believe the revenue in the device revenue of Microsoft is actually growing at a high rate for the following 5 years. So the point I want to make here is actually there will be shifting in the revenue breakdown with Microsoft. So the revenue from the Windows is definitely going down because there is a tenser competition and the PC sales is going down. But this will be partially offset by the increase in the device revenue due to the Nokia's joining Microsoft. And also we will see that the enterprise service will provide more revenue for Microsoft in the following years, as my colleagues have actually reinforced that Microsoft is still holding a position in the enterprise service, like especially the cloud service, and that will actually become a larger portion of our revenue in the following 5 years. And so basically, the revenue will increase, and the structure of the revenue will actually change in the following years.
quick question about the kind of cultural side of it, the integration of Nokia. You touched on the fact that you wanted to reach out quickly to the Nokia team and to reassure them that they are being welcomed into Microsoft. Microsoft has had a long history of stack ranking its people, so there's a kind of competitiveness that's being encouraged within the organization. How do you propose to reassure your existing Microsoft employees? Because if you're looking at, you acquired Nokia, you're integrating them, you're giving the Nokia employees a lot of reassurances. But if I'm a Microsoft employee, I'm thinking, well, what are my reassurances? Because obviously I may or may not be the top performer, or I may or may not be having the same kind of treatment. How would you visualize that playing out?
I would say that the example of your question is actually in the case where the CEO of Nokia, when he is arranged to be the head of the department of device department, and the previous CEO is actually arranged to another place, who actually just got on that place. So this question, I do think that firstly, the department difference is a solution for this question, because previously Microsoft is most focused on service provider, and most of its employee are focused on the software service. And for Nokia, most of the employee are focused on hardware or devices. So the department distribution will partly solve this question, but also there are still questions may remain, and we do think that since we have proposed to have a quick reaction or quick response to the employees that are going to join us, we also propose that we have quick response to the employees within our company. So in order to ensure that there are places where their competitiveness would not be threatened, but will only be encouraged.
So to add something on it, I think that it's really important to keep just let's say because the Microsoft is developing a cooperation culture among the entire companies. It's really important to keep that idea. So as we have already mentioned, in terms of the evaluate the performance of each employee, we think that it's really important to, for example, if they're working a functional group, so we can we develop some so people different employees, even from different division, should evaluate on his partner's performance. So then we are actually using the same evaluation system to judge people's performance. So I think that is so the Microsoft's employees will not feel threatened because we're under the same line. So.
Can I answer your question?
So your team talk about partnering with some app development company. So I would like to know what is your view. So for the app development, it's more on the entertainment side, game, or just take the MS Office to the next level.
Okay, so as we all know, because Apple is very successful in this field, so we found sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to attract more developers to develop the app for Windows. So we think the opportunities for those startup companies, because usually they have some ideas to satisfy some of the needs of our customers, but they don't have a very mature business model. So we think that for us, first of all, the revenue will come after we get more app. I mean, after we get more customers. So that means that we can capture the opportunities from those startup app company. And if we think that this idea is pretty good, then we give them some financial support. No matter they are focusing on the entertainment or office, I think that will be not very critical for us, but with just the ideas will be the most priority.
If I may add on, I would say And ultimate objective for we to develop our app is to be like a system like Android that we can provide our customers lots of kinds of different choices. This is our ultimate purpose. But to begin with, because we do not have our customer base, so we should do it step by step. So we will first cooperate with some startup company, and later on, more and more company would like to support us to develop more and more app, and ultimately our customers can enjoy different kinds of choices. Thank you.
Just one final question then on the app development. You mentioned that even if you find an app that you think is good, even if they're financially not profitable, you will support them with financial incentives, etc. How much are you willing to invest in building this platform?
Well, actually, we think the app development is essential actually for the development of Microsoft's mobile phone ecosystem. So our willingness to pay for especially some high value apps is we can see sufficiently high. We cannot give an exact number here, given that. But we'll definitely our answer will definitely depend on the users of this app in the other platforms, on the other platform like iOS, like Android. So in this way, we can estimate how many customers this particular app can attract to our Windows mobile phone app, Windows mobile phone system. And in this way, we can estimate how much it will contribute to the following on profits from our app purchases of our customers. So in this way, we can actually price the subsidy we are giving to those app developers in order for their services. So this is basically our thought process about pricing.
Thank you.
That is all. Thank you very much, dear judges. Thank you very much, Tsinghua University.